Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to the Divine Union podcast. Well, if you were watching the video version on my YouTube channel today, you will see that I've got a whole new background that is Mama Bali Ubud. I am so happy to be back for the next month and a half. And if you're tuning in, listening to the audio, fantastic. Sit back, relax, get excited for this incredible episode I can't wait to dive into. And if this is your first time tuning in, welcome. Yeah, so thrilled to have you here. Buckle up, baby, because today is going to be a deep episode inspired by the hundreds of conversations I've been having with amazing women over the past couple months. And the topic that keeps coming back time and time again is how to balance your masculine and feminine energies. Now, this is the work that I do, although I speak to it from different angles. Sometimes I speak to it from the angle of playful intimacy. Sometimes I speak to it from the angle of communication, getting what you want with ease and grace, authenticity, radical sovereignty. But it all comes back to balancing of your masculine and feminine energies. So I'm really jazzed to dive in. Now, before we dive in, we got to understand the why. Why is this important, right? Simon Sinek, his amazing TED Talk on the why, where he talks about Apple and Steve Jobs and how they spin and talk about Apple as the why. Why is it such a powerful company? What is their mission? Why should you connect to them, right? So we want to understand, why is this important? The more that you balance your masculine and feminine energies, the deeper intimacy you're going to have in a relationship. And we'll talk about that. Also, the more capacity for passion you're going to have that stands the test of time past those initial honeymoon phases. And how do you actually cultivate passion long term? You need to have balance of your energies for that. And lastly, because you're going to have more balance in your relationship. When you are off balance with your energies, when you either have too much masculine energy or too much feminine energy, or if both parties are, you're going to have an imbalance in the relationship. Now, what do I mean by an imbalance of the relationship? I mean, that can be anything from imbalance of power dynamics. One person has more power than the other. One person is making decisions while the other is surrendering and following. One's leading, one's following. And not as much equal distribution of the power in that way. One person is over-giving. Right? These unbalanced dynamics. I'm overgiving my partners. I'm putting them on a pedestal. Or maybe one person feels like they love the other more. It's uneven distribution of desire, of love, of wanting intimacy and connection, or of power. All of it. You want to have more balance in the relationship, you got to have more balance within, and we're going to talk about that. I'm so jazzed to talk about that. This is why I do this work. Because who doesn't want deep intimacy? Who doesn't want the deepest intimacy they've ever thought was possible? Or the fieriest passion that you couldn't even imagine was possible? It is, with balance. So let's get into it. Okay. First, you need to have inner balance, inner union to have outer union. That's what I stand by. And you need to have balance within if you want to have balance in your relationship. So, balancing of the energies. So, when you are off balance, it can go different ways, One, let's say you have more feminine energy, not enough masculine energy. What does that actually look like? When you have more feminine energy, not enough masculine energy, you are probably going to go the route of people-pleasing, minimizing self to maintain the connection. You're more focused on the connection, the feminine versus the freedom and sovereignty of the masculine. You're going to be more agreeable, which is a good thing. You want to agree with your partner. I'm not saying I'll be like hyper independent or argue. No. But you're not going to stand up for what you desire, most likely. I'm talking extremes here. You're not going to stand up for your desires if it is perceived to sacrifice the harmony of the relationship. You're probably not going to be initiating as much as you desire in bed, initiating the intimacy, emotional intimacy, planning dates, right? Doing things that are more action-oriented. Now, if you lean in the masculine, yeah, whether you are a man or a woman, gender non-conforming, individual, you know how I roll, yeah? You're going to be more forward creating the plans, but you're probably going to have a hard time surrendering if you're too far in the masculine. You're also probably going to have a hard time expressing vulnerably from your emotions. Unhealthy masculine. Most people are that. Yeah? You're not going to have an easy time connecting to your emotion, expressing your emotion vulnerably, going with the flow, surrendering, honoring your own emotions, letting your own emotions move through you. Now, often what happens is I see like a more feminine partner, and the more masculine partner also has distaste for the feminine. They don't understand it because they're not connected to their own feminine. Yeah, and the more feminine partner doesn't understand the masculine. They project on the masculine. Take care of me, protect me. Why aren't you doing all those things when they don't actually do that for themselves? So this is why the balance is so key. Now I spoke about feminine, I spoke about unhealthy masculine. So the thing is, the world, our conditioning is an unhealthy, wounded masculine. Now many people have both. So I'm going to speak to my own life a bit here. With myself, yeah? I used to be more in the femme. So I used to want my partners to lead me, to guide me, to express their desire for me, to ravish me, yeah? And I didn't know how to invite that in because I was more in my femme. So I was just like, lead me, but like, read my mind. Do all the things you're supposed to do, man. And I was a people pleaser. I put my partners on pedestals. I loved them more than they loved me. I would always try to express my mushy-gushy heart. They would close. Yet, I also had unhealthy masculine energy, not healthy masculine. This is why I do this work. Because I would try to control my partner, control the direction of the relationship, make them be who I wanted them to be, who I needed them to be. I was needy. I wasn't able to meet my own needs, who I needed them to be. You don't have to accept a subpar partner. That is not what I believe. But what I believe is like, how do you see them as their divine masculine? And how do you create invitations for them to meet you where you want them to meet you? Without requiring it, without demanding it, coming from a place of neediness, of lack of dependency. That is unhealthy. Feminine energy, and the control is unhealthy masculine energy. So I actually had both. Now, I actually see that many women and men, all people, have both. Okay, depending who you are. But I work with women and couples at the moment, yeah? And so when I speak to that, I'll say with women, I see mostly the women I work with, they're more in the femme, but they have some of that unhealthy masculine energy. And so I love working with these kinds of women because they're usually curious and open and willing to go there into the crunchy places, which that's what you need to do this kind of work. Let's be real. You got to be willing to want it, not need it. Commit to yourself and your growth like I am, like I do. Okay, so the energies. So let's talk about unhealthy. Let's talk about, when you're unbalanced, right? So you have this people pleaser energy, right? You don't have enough masculine. Now, why? What does that look like? Yeah? When you're more in the femme, you don't feel secure. When you don't have healthy masculine energy, healthy masculine, I want you to think of it like roots of a tree. Your groundedness in who you are, in what you want, in what you deserve, in what you need, and what your boundaries are. But you don't need to demand it from a place of neediness because you know you're already whole when you got that masculine. So it's like, babe, that doesn't feel good. And what I'd like is X, Y, and Z. Yeah? And why? Because it would make me feel connected to you. Because it would make me enjoy our relating more. It would make me feel sexier when we are in bed together. Yeah? And so I used to be a total people pleaser. And so in the femme. And it's taken me a lot of work to really work to assert my healthy masculine. Because many people, when they talk about authenticity, oh yes, unleash your wild woman, your authenticity, yeah, it's like you can get this idea of like, okay, so now I'm gonna go like balls to the wall crazy, and just like unleash everything. And we don't want to do that. You never want to damage the relationship. But what I feel I embody really well and what I teach is, how do you have that balance? How do you have that balance of being assertive, naming what it is you want and desire, but also being open in your femme, being curious, listening, sensing your partner when you're speaking, sensing their energy, reading between the lines. Babe, I'm fine, but really they're not. Yeah, or they come home in a bad mood and like you sense there's something more there. Or they're not being physical and you sense there's something deeper there. And then you need your masculine to actually assert it. And so when you want to balance the energies, first what you need to do as part of my journey, and this is what I teach, is you need to heal your masculine. You need to heal your relationship with the masculine, with the early masculine figures in your life. Whether they were present, whether they were not present, whether they were emotionally unavailable, whether they were distant, whether they were abusive, whether they weren't even there, whether they passed early, whatever it might be, you need to heal that relationship and acknowledge their humanity and see where is the medicine in there for you. Now, at least for me, part of my journey was I repressed a lot of masculine qualities, wounded masculine qualities that were within me because of experiences of me witnessing them in my life, early life, and having such resentment towards the masculine, frustration towards the masculine, from being overpowered by the masculine. Lack of safety around the masculine, frustration around them not providing that safety, that presence for my feminine to flourish. I literally didn't feel safe around men. I was afraid to even be expressed, be in my sensuality in public, ask for what I want, receive, all the things, surrender. I didn't trust my own ability to take care of myself. So if you want to have balance of the energies, you first need to heal your masculine, heal that relationship with the primary caregiver or whoever it was in your life. Then you need to heal your own inner masculine. Yeah, you need to see where are the parts of them that are within me. Yeah, how do I have some of that? Where do I repress some of my aspects that want to dominate, that want to penetrate, that want to overpower another? Whether it be sexually in your fantasies, whatever it might be. Expressions of your rage, Kali energy, whoever you're tuning into. Where do you have those parts within self? And let yourself feel them. Or let yourself feel the depth of your rage, the depth of your anger, the depth of those darker emotions that you may shy away from. I had so much repressed anger inside. So much. When I started doing this work with my masculine and in my feminine, I unleashed so much anger and have alchemized that into bliss and pleasure and joy. Not to say I don't get angry. You could see me. I used to call me 0 to 60, my mother, because I could go, I still can. I can pop off like a mofo. I got that pitta vibe, I'm in the pitta phase of my life. I got that fuego in my solar plexus. I don't know how, because I'm triple air, double Aquarius, sun, Aquarius ascending, and my moon is Libra. So I'm triple air, but I got fuego like you wouldn't believe. So I can express that anger now, yeah? But how do I do it in a way that enlivens the relationship? Where am I going? There's so much here. It's so deep. So working to heal your own masculine, to allow yourself to work with your emotions, to work with your sense of desire, work with your boundaries, work with your kink, yeah? First, you also need to work with your subconscious, all your programming, deprogram the programming, the unworthiness, the not enoughness. What are your biggest wounds? Is it not feeling respected? Is it feeling alone? Is it not feeling valued? Is it feeling like you're too much? Is it you feeling like something's wrong with you? Yeah, I point to myself. That was one of my biggest wounds. Also, not feeling respected, one of my biggest wounds. Not feeling worthy, one of my biggest wounds. You know, take them all, put them up in a soup, drink it up, spit it out. I'm funny today. I'm having fun. So I love this topic so much. So you need to heal your relationship with your primary caregiver. You need to heal your relationship with the masculine. You need to heal your own masculine. Provide for yourself. Then you need to cultivate your feminine again. Because your true feminine can't thrive without your own masculine containment. You want your partner to hold you with safety and presence and love, and you can't hold yourself? That's a tall order. Huh? You really want to put your life in someone else's hands? Not I. Not I. And so if you want to be fully empowered and you want to have deep intimacy and passion, because that stuff is stifled when it creates a scenario of dependency and you're dependent, you want to have deep intimacy and passion that stands the test of time, you got to be sovereign, baby. You got to take care of your own needs and be able to hold yourself. Oh, babe, you just had a meltdown out there in public? At that restaurant? You just started crying and screaming? I got you. We got this. I'm going to go get you a lemonade. I'm going to get you a chocolate bar. We're going to sit down. We're going to eat it. We're going to enjoy. We're going to come back to stillness and pleasure and reflect. What did we learn? How can we improve? That's what I mean. That was the biggest part of my journey, was like holding myself through life. I got you through life. You want to travel the world? You're afraid of how you're going to do it, make it all happen? You're afraid you're not going to feel safe in this moment? You're afraid of barking dogs outside? Yeah, hell yeah. I got attacked by a pit bull. How do I do it? I hold myself through it. You're going to be okay. What's the universal synchronicity there? What's the sign? What's the learning? What's the lesson? Why are you here? Why are you in this toxic relationship? What's the message for you? How do you get out of it? How do you assert yourself? How do you overcome? Why did you choose your familial dynamic? Why did they choose you? Holding back the tears. No, I'm not. I had a moment I just almost teared. It's really, I really, this is it for me. This is the work. This is why I do this work. So it's working with the masculine, yeah? Healing of the masculine. Making way for your feminine to thrive. Making way for her wild expression. Oh, you just had a moment where you got emotional and you shared your vulnerability with a lover or your partner and they didn't receive you? Babe, you're incredible. Maybe lucky to have you. And let's first play the way I roll. Yeah, I teach. You can only incorporate play once you're balanced, but let's play with it. See if we can shift their energy, because if it's all energy, which it is, your energy impacts their energy, impacts the collective energy. And then if they're still not receiving you after you play with your expression, then it's like, okay, they have their own shit going on. They don't see you in the way you see yourself right now. Or maybe they have blinders on. They're only looking through rose-colored glasses. But you're incredible. You're a catch. No one can compete with your energy and who you are, because you are your own unique being, an incredible being. And I love the shit out of you no matter what. And that's wholeness. It's a return to wholeness. That's what it's about. And it transformed how I relate to my feminine being and my masculine, because I couldn't actually surrender in relationship. I used to have so much control, trying to control my partners, the relationship. I would mother them. I would shame them into stepping up in the ways that I desire. I would play the pity party, poor me. I would be completely disempowered. And when I worked to own my own masculine, then I could step into my divine feminine. I could ask for what I want, let my men show up to meet me. And if they don't, they don't. Let time show. But I'm not in such a rush for time. You know why? Because I got my masculine to hold me, so I don't need that pressure of let me bag you in and make you mine already. Because I know I'm going to be okay. Favorite quote of mine, I've definitely quoted this before in previous episodes. A bird lands on a branch not knowing that the branch isn't going to break, but it trusts its own ability to fly away. You got to trust yourself to know when to leave, to be okay if you're left behind, to be okay if they don't meet you. And then you stop trying to control life and you let life move through you. You let life move you. I'm going to cry again. Oh. Because this is it. This is how we have deep love. This is how we have deep connection and intimacy and passion. When we stop trying to grip control and we just focus on what we can control ourselves, how we show up, and do our best to be balanced, to come back to wholeness, remember our wholeness. I want to transition to the opposite, but I want to just feel if there's anything else here on that. Yeah, it really allowed me to surrender more when I held myself with my masculine. To surrender to the relationship. I'm going to just see what unfolds. I'm going to state my desire, share my heart vulnerably and see what happens. Not let fear of rejection prevent me from sharing my heart. And when I do that, I get to see how people respond to me, how my lovers respond to me. It's not always in the way I desire, but it feels good not leaving anything on the table. Being raw, being real. That's how we teach the world, through our embodied example of how we be. And I switched to the genders, yeah? And if you're a man and you truly want to be in your masculine, you got to know how to be in your feminine. You got to tune into your own feminine and love your own feminine, your emotionality, your wildness, you changing your mind, your chaos. You have to love the sides of you that are deep well of love inside, that deeply want intimacy and connection. Because when you aren't able to access that, you can never hold space for your woman. If you're in a heterosexual relationship, you can never hold space for your partner, your more feminine partner, let's say that. Because you don't get it, you'll resent it because you're not connected to your own feminine. You don't let yourself feel your own feminine, your own softness. And it's only through you having that sensitivity to the feminine, being able to read the feminine, feel your own feminine, that's how you're going to lead with masculine, true masculine presence, true masculine power. You look at the best leaders of the world, Joe Dispenza, David Data, yeah, Russell Brunson, even you think about, now I'm getting my brain, you think about even Lauren Kren, John Wineland, yeah, even who slayed Steve Jobs. They had feminine energy. That's why they lead so powerfully, because they're also connected to the heart space. Yeah? They're connected to that sensitivity. They're connected to the mission, what drives people, how to impact people. You need that balance to have an impact as a man, to have deep intimacy in relationship. Otherwise, you're just leading, you're directing, you're cold, you're hardened, you're not expressed, you're not sharing your heart. No one can actually feel, who are you? Who's in there? Opening up the closet, looking in. What do I see? Bunch of freaking whips and chains? What? Oh my God. A dirty pond that hasn't been cleaned out in 10 years because all the emotions are piling up and of green goo and slime? What? What? That can't be real. Is that what's in there? Oh shit. tons of insecurities masked as strengths? What? Oh my God. Let me crack that thing with a chisel. We're going to need a bigger chisel. I needed to laugh. Thank you. Thank you, Nicola, for that. You know, it's so important, the balancing of the energies. This is how you're going to truly thrive in life. And this is what I teach inside my work, is how to actually do it. The process of how to do it. Yeah, because you need to go through deep work, working with your mindset, empowering your mindset, your subconscious beliefs, going back to childhood, all the things. Then you need to work with your masculine and feminine, healing and integration of your masculine and feminine energies, balancing of your energies. Then you can finally work on embodiment. That's the third pillar of my work, yeah? Embodiment. Being a living embodiment, working with your communication, working with your expression, working with your energetics so that you can embody your highest form of thriving self, your balanced self. Because if it's not in the body, it's not going to ring true. If you say something and your body doesn't match, it doesn't resonate. I have a balance assessment that I will put in the show notes. It's like a super easy grid that you can take where it gives you a sense of where you are off balance with your masculine and feminine energies, so that you can understand what area you want to hone more. You know, so I'll put that in the show notes. I also have a communication quiz that you can take to understand where you skew more masculine or feminine in your communication, if that's an area that you want to improve. Thank you so much, beautiful people, for tuning in to this week's episode of Divine Union with your hostess, Nicola Navone. It's been such a pleasure. If this is the topic that you want to learn more about, shoot me a DM. I'd be happy to chat. And if you dug this episode, you found it really insightful, interesting, funny, intriguing, whatever it is, please let us know your feedback by way of a review. They often get overlooked, and it would mean so much to the podcast, because this is how we gain traction. This is how we continue to have an impact in the world. Spread the mission, deeper intimacy, deeper love and connection. Relating. And fulfillment and joy and pleasure. I could go on and on and on with all the words, all the buzzwords I could give you. But I'll end it here. It's been such a pleasure. And I look forward to seeing you next week. And until then, may all your unions be divine.